And then there came a day like many others. The best Flarking podcast. Your nerd's eye view of TV, film, comics, and video games. With you as always, your mother Flarking hosts, Dunners and Reej. Hey, after the podcast, you guys want to go get shawarma? Anybody? Shawarma? Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to the best Flarking podcast. In our first ever milestone episode, it's episode 10. We've done 10 of them. 10 of them now. Play the Marvel song.
Yeah, right. Cue the trumpets.
Cue the page flipping and the Marvel logo, but it says best Flarking podcast, but it still plays the really awesome intro. Somebody doesn't think Marvel's that awesome, though. Reej.
Yeah, that somebody works for the other guys.
He does work for the other guys. It's Zack Snyder. He says, hey, look, hey, Reej, hey, look.
Hey, Zach.
I like the Marvel movies, okay? They're fun. But they're not Batman and Superman. These characters, these two, they're transcendent of the medium, man. They're bigger. They're bigger than comic book characters. And that's the thing about DC characters, is that they stand the test of time. People know who they are. They're part of the culture. They're not the flavor of the week, like Ant-Man. Not to be mean, but like, what's next? Blank Man? And so...
But we already had Blank Man, Zach.
I know, and that was a fucking awesome movie. I fucking love Blank Man with Damon Wayans and...
Yes.
Oh my god, who's the sidekick other guy?
I don't
David
recall.
Alan Grier.
There you go.
Thanks, Reej. You nailed it.
Yep.
So...
Got it.
That was Zack Snyder in response to Steven Spielberg saying that superhero movies are going to go the way of the Western and they're going to burn out and they're going away sometime soon. But I feel like that's such a crock of shit. I don't think they're going away anytime soon. I don't think they're going anywhere for the next 20 years as far as people getting tired of them. Because I feel like the stories are varied enough and they're fun enough that we're going to go ahead and keep seeing them. You know, blockbusters just are going to keep on coming. They're going to keep on coming out. And as long as the storyline's engaging enough, people are going to stay interested. It's the same way that, like, oh, comic books are over. No one wants to read comic books anymore. Those are super over. But people still read them. People still are super into all these stories and all these great places to take it. So I feel like as long as the stories stay good, we're not going to run into the burnout that everyone seems to think is coming. Yet, despite end over end box office telling us it's the exact opposite.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like it's a crock of shit on Zack Snyder because most people don't know who the fuck half of DC's characters are. They know who the big two are, but to say that, that's to say that people don't know who fucking Spider-Man is and that he doesn't transcend the medium either. You know?
With the flavor of the week comment.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not going to be an Ant-Man. It's like, you tell me that when you guys fucking put out Doctor Strange Fate, you know, or Doctor Fate, rather.
Scratch that. Come talk to me when you plan out your shit for decades ahead of time. When you have an actual plan around your films.
It's like, you tell me that Rick Flag of Suicide Squad's going to transcend the medium. Yeah. You go ahead and tell me that. Which is like... So it's one of those moments where, like, I get it. You're on the other side of the fence. You know, playful jabs. But I think it's more classy that Marvel doesn't even acknowledge DC at all. It's just like, they're playing in our sandbox. We're the ones who basically built this thing. You know? For the longest time, DC was content with making movies that never, ever crossed over. And then Marvel's like, yep, all of our shit crosses over.
Well, doesn't it also seem a bit almost... just contradictory to be saying that you feel that the movies you're making are gonna end up burning out?
Yeah,
I mean, you're making superhero movies, bro.
But I mean, it's that moment. It's like I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
But yours transcend the medium.
Yeah, my movie transcends the medium, despite the fact that all of Man of Steel was like lots of punching and shit flying everywhere, and it wasn't an endearing
just destruction porn.
It wasn't an endearing Superman story at all. But it's like, I agree. Yeah, I agree that Batman transcends the medium. I feel like Batman is one of the most recognizable pop culture characters in the history of the Earth, and rightfully so. He's fucking Batman, for God's sakes. Like, he's been in our He's been in our comic books, our TV, our breakfast cereals, our lunches, our dinners, our toys, our clothes, our radio, our movies. I'm
pretty sure he's even been in my bathtub. There's probably some form of shampoo bottle.
Batman has been the pinnacle of popular for 40 years prior to my existence on this planet. Of course he transcends the medium. He's fucking Batman. Right. You know, it's like it
goes without saying.
You know, it's one of those things where it's just like, but yeah, you know, like we were saying earlier, is that fucking Spider-Man transcends the medium, and I feel like even newer characters transcend the medium and could be popular for a long time. I feel like Iron Man is recently popular to everyone, and I feel like Iron Man transcends the medium now too. And I feel the same way about the Hulk, and I feel the same way about Captain America. But I mean, maybe that's just me putting my comic book fan spin on it. But like, I feel like those characters do, because of the movies that they've been in are so big and so important to so many people, that those characters have now cemented themselves. The same way that, like, in 1979, Star Wars was supposed to be like a one-off who gives a shit. And it turned into a thing that's so big that people in Europe call it their religion. You know, Jedi is an official religion on the forms. So it's like, there's things where it's like, I feel like events cement you and make you bigger than the art form you come from. And I don't think that's really fair for Zack Snyder to be like, oh yeah, Ant-Man's totally sucks. It's like, dude, Ant-Man made more money than fucking Sucker Punch, you piece of shit. Yeah. It's just like, it's more important to people than fucking 300 Part 2. So fuck off.
that trash.
I mean, at the end of the day,
sorry if you liked it.
I mean, I didn't particularly like 300 Part 2, but I've talked to Zack Snyder before, because, you know, I worked on Man of Steel. I worked on Man of Steel. But, like,
shameless plug, shameless self-plug.
And he's kind of that guy, but at the same time, like, I can see where he would say that and also kind of mean it in jest, but at the same time, he's one of those dudes where, like, he would backhandedly compliment it. And that's what I feel like that feels like, where it's like, look, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just trying to say that your movie's not worthy of being around.
Like, he literally doesn't even know what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, the way you formed your words were, you know...
And, like, reactionary at best is, like, how I feel about when somebody comes up with that question. But, like, I like James Gunn's response to Steven Spielberg of, like, it's like, will those movies burn out? And James Gunn's like, I don't know, maybe. Everything has a shelf life. Sometimes people just stop liking stuff. It could be that the stories stay great and people just stop wanting to see them. He's like
the Western.
You know, he's like, I don't know. It's like, I have no idea how it's gonna work. But he's like, do I think my movies fit in that mold? He's like, no, I think Guardians is gonna go on for 5 or 6, 7 movies, and I don't feel like the movies I make are superhero movies. I feel like I'm making movies about characters and their interactions with each other, and they just happen to have powers.
Bro, Guardians is timeless.
You know? And so it's just kind of like, yeah.
Will be.
Well, I mean, clearly it struck a chord with enough people. I mean, it's the, third or fourth highest grossing Marvel movie of all time, and it was supposed to be the first failure.
And the soundtrack, and then Groot and Rocket, and, I mean, you can go on.
Yeah.
But James Gunn can do no wrong, first off, so...
It's true. I just had to rewatch, you know, Toxic Avenger 4 after we talked about it on the podcast, so I could see his part as the Stephen Hawking character who has his penis pump that people tease him about because he can't get an erection, and he's like, I've got science, I've got this penis pump, and it's like, this dude wrote and directed Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like, so there's those moments where it's like, yes, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time for me that I'll get to make whatever I want to make in the world. It's only
a natural progression
in Hollywood. But yeah, so basically, I think we're both on the page of shut up, Zack Snyder. Just
make your movie.
Just go make Batman vs Superman, and, you know, just live with the fact that you ran away from Captain America: Civil War because you guys were supposed to release the same weekend, and you guys got scared and ran. So that's that. So, you know, see you later, Zach. Weeks ago, we talked about some guy who looked a lot like Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, one of the most powerful mutant thingies. I think he was the first.
Gave the Power Rangers a run for his money. No, that's who he looks like. That's who he looks like. But a new TMZ style photo has surfaced showing him like a total badass, following a friend of ours, Jimmy Two Times, hashtag of more fish lips and less dipshits. It looks like this new apocalypse photo. It looks like Ensaba Nur that we all grew up with and all really, really like. He's got steel blue skin, and he's got the fish lips, and he's got white eyes, and he looks badass.
The eyes helped a ton. He
does look a little frail. He's like a little frail looking.
Is he looking a little soft, a little frail?
I mean, he kind of looks like, imagine like a shot of a desert, and then you see like a chameleon or something perched up on a branch, and this chameleon hasn't eaten in weeks. That's like the way his skin looks. He looks a little frail, so I'm assuming that this must be like a battle at the end when he's kind of getting wailed on, or after the very first time he goes in the Lazarus chamber and hides himself away for years and years and years. But I feel like, looking at that picture, they're on the right track, and I feel like we're probably sitting and staring down an X-Men Days of Future Past situation. Remember when X-Men Days of Future Past first came out with the trailer and it was fucking awful, and then the second trailer came out and it was awesome?
I'd have to go back and watch them to really remember, but I think so.
The first launch trailer was fucking terrible. It was just awful. I was like,
Was it purely the one with, like, very political?
Yeah.
Played on more of the...
Yeah, it's like this is going to be a joke. This is going to be such a dumb X-Men movie. And then the second trailer just lit it up with all the awesome. And I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm all in now.
Yeah, that's when we got to see the Future Mutants.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, cool. I feel like this is what's happening with the Apocalypse thing, too, is where it's just kind of like Bryan Singer and the team are like, yeah, we'll feed them all the shit in the beginning, and then we'll come out there with that trailer, and everyone's going to be super excited about it.
Just going to shut their mouth.
And we'll go from there. So
yeah, we're supposed to get it soon, aren't we? They're saying it's going to be attached to The Martian.
Yeah, and apparently The Martian's like one of the best movies of the year. So
who says that?
Variety said it, and quite a few other people are saying it's like the return to old form Ridley Scott, which makes me happy because I love Ridley Scott. So, and it kind of bums me out to have shit like Prometheus and Robin Hood be his latest and greatest. So I hope The Martian's awesome. I'll probably go check it out, just because I like Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll check it out.
So good job, Fox. You can
keep at it. Well,
keep at it with the good ideas, and
and stop trying to make Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah, stop trying to make fetch happen, dude. Tell Simon Kinberg to sit down and let fucking Fantastic Four go home. God damn it.
But so did you see the other picture then that was attached with, or that was with the Apocalypse one?
Yeah, the one
to
where
kind
they're
of prove its legitimacy.
Yeah, the one where it's like the X-Men in their very X-Men
disappointing
leather
is that?
costumes.
More X-Men in black leather.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
It is a little disappointing. But it's clearly that's their formula and that's what works for them.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect anything different, because I've had 5 or 6 X-Men movies of that exact particular situation.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect anything different. So I don't think I'm as disappointed as a lot of people are in that regard. But I really wish, I do wish yellow and blue would have been like the outfits. Yeah, I mean, the outfits from the first
dark
team.
Navy.
You know, the thing that I want more than anything,
with some gold piping. Like, come on, man.
I know not a lot of people are Cyclops fans, and I am a Cyclops fan. I love everything about what it entails to be Scott, and you know, if that's any indicator, you can check out our super sweet Vine and Instagram cartoon series, Oh Scott, that we just started running. If you didn't already see it, but
Scott,
I want to see a Scott Summers with that badass X visor built into his mask and the big red X across his suit. It's like the more modern Cyclops suit, and it's like, that suit's awesome because it's, you know, the throwback to the completely covered headpiece, but instead of wearing the ruby quartz visor on the outside, it's just that giant X that he has on his face, and it's like, Scott really deserves that. Scott as a character deserves a better turn than he got in the movies. Because everyone likes to talk about how powerful he is, but he's never once got to show how truly badass Scott Summers is.
Yeah.
You know, he shot like Sabretooth through a window once, and he like shot Magneto like with a tiny laser once. and then he died. Like, he hasn't got to do shit. He hasn't got to do anything. Like, Deadpool in the shitty X-Men Origins movie got to have a better eye laser than Cyclops.
Ooh.
And that's a problem.
It is.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all, though. And correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but one of the most exciting motion graphics only trailers that anyone has ever seen is this Jessica Jones trailer.
Oh.
This motion, like, that motion graphics trailer, I had to stop it midway through, start it over again, and run and go get my wife and be like, look, baby, look, they made a Jessica Jones trailer. And she's like, oh, okay, is it got, like, footage in it? I'm like, no, it's, like, all just motion graphics and, like, fucking David Tennant whispering her name in the darkness, and it's fucking creepy and awesome. And then I watched it, like 100 times over the weekend, and it was just, like, that song, that perfect choice of song for the, what is it, Thousand Eyes of Monsters and Men.
I'm not familiar with it.
That's what I think it is. I think it's Thousand Eyes by Monsters and Men. Perfect companion piece to it. I like the idea too of it's just Jessica Jones, no more AKA Jessica Jones.
Yeah, that was good.
Just Jessica Jones. I like the idea of, like, it's time, the world needs to know her name. Like, I like the whole thing of, like, this story pushing forward, and, like, the idea that the trailer is really creepy, and it's like it's looming around in her head is what it really feels like. Is that this trailer feels to me that it's Purple Man fucking with her brain, and we're basically witnessing it firsthand.
Yeah.
You know? And the nice little touches there too, like her walking down the same alleyway as Daredevil when you see Matt Murdock standing in front of Avengers Tower in his original preview. You have Jessica Jones doing the exact same thing in that trailer. Yeah. I was like, that's really neat. And then the door, you know, her very classic, the door of her agency, and, you know, like it's just, that trailer is super neat, and the fact that we got the release date of, like, oh yeah, guess what, 60 days from now you can watch it.
60 days from now you will be plopped on your couch, not moving.
You'll be firing off a binge watch weekend, firing down Jessica Jones.
Sick, call in whatever. Just be there.
And I really like. Did you see Joseph Loeb's comments about it at, was it not New York Comic Con? It was some Comic Con in the last month or so. I can't remember which one it was. But they asked him, you know, since we haven't had a trailer yet, and by this time, so close to the series, we'd already had 2 Daredevil trailers, if they could elaborate a little bit on what the show is going to be like. And he's like, well, and he's like, and how Drew Goddard and team did a really good job with Daredevil. And he's like, I'm going to borrow from them. Daredevil was a crime drama first and a superhero show second. And we took that exact same kind of idea and we applied it to Jessica Jones. But instead of it being a crime drama, it's a psychological thriller about a person who's been damaged by a really vile person and their recovery through that process. So it's a psychological thriller and a superhero show second. And I can say firsthand that some very bad things are going to happen to some very good people.
Ugh.
So
I wonder if there'll be flashbacks then.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what happens in Alias and what the Purple Man just does to people in general, I kind of shuddered at that as an idea. I was just like, ooh, this sounds bad. This sounds so bad.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm super excited. That trailer's got me all amped up. I'm super excited for the next Netflix show. Also, on the tail end of that note, they didn't show it in the trailer, but they did announce it that day that April is going to be season 2 for Daredevil. So we're going to have season 2 of Daredevil before we get Luke Cage, which will probably be around August, September of 2016, which would then mean we're going to get a second season of Jessica Jones and a third season of Daredevil before we get Iron Fist and Defenders. But I can understand that idea. I can understand that as an idea for Marvel, though, because Daredevil shattered all expectations. Like, it was just beyond popular, you know? You know, you got people being like, oh, Daredevil's such a badass now. Why isn't Daredevil in more stuff? Why wasn't he in Age of Ultron? It's like, dude, nobody would have asked that if that show wasn't such a stellar success. Like, I mean, seriously, if you go into like a lot of these like comic book movie forums and stuff, and it's just like, why didn't they have a part for him in Civil War? It's like, why don't you just take a breather for 2 seconds? He's awesome. Let's not rush him. Let's not rush him into anything. He's gonna be in the Infinity War. It's gonna be super tight. But let's just give Daredevil. Yeah, let's give Daredevil a second. Remember, he just returned from a 10-year exile into the land of misfit comic book characters, hanging out with Jonah Hex and Steel and a bunch of other failed comic book movies, because Fox mishandled him. So let's just take it easy on him. So that being said, I have high hopes for Jessica Jones, and I can't wait for November 10th to get here. For more reasons than one. I think November 10th is also like... Is it November 20th? November 10th is a big video game day.
11/20.
Yeah, November 10th is a big video game day. So...
Yeah, 11/10 is Fallout 4.
Yeah. That's gonna be a very bad month. That's gonna be a bad month.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a bad month for Human Contact. You didn't come into work.
Goes down.
Hey, we haven't had an episode of the Best Flarking Podcast in like 3 weeks. Leave me alone. I'm out here in the wasteland trying to build up my reserves.
5-month hiatus, guys.
I'm out here in the wasteland trying to build my reserves. Meanwhile, I'm also trying to watch all of Jessica Jones in a weekend. Leave me alone. We wouldn't do that to you guys. We might, but we'll try not to. We'll try not to. We'll do our best. So, let's see. Legendary, the movie studio, the guys who make Godzilla, also the guys who make Pacific Rim, are also making Skull Island, which is a King Kong movie, but not called King Kong. And in a nice little power play, they've shifted their distribution rights from, I can't remember who had it before, but they're moving it to Warner to set up for a brand new age King Kong versus Godzilla fight. Which would be, I'm all for it. I'm all for things like A versus B. Freddy versus Jason, King Kong versus Gojira. I'm all about those movies. Because I get that when you boil them down, they're the playground days is basically what they are for me. Is just like, oh yeah, but like what would happen if like such and such fought such and such? And for that, it's just like, yeah, I want to see that movie, and I don't give a shit about the setup at all. It's like those are those few moments.
Pacific Rim was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, Pacific Rim, was it the guys over at Screen Rant, the really funny guys over at Screen Rant, nail that in their honest trailer. It's either the dumbest awesome movie of all time or the awesomest dumb movie of all time. It is one of those two. It can be both, but at the same but it is most certainly one or the other, no matter who you are. It's it's just, people like to watch shit fight.
Damn right, man. Giant monsters versus giant robots.
Well, I mean, even at like their very, very like base level, I wanted to write when I was in college. We had to take this writing course of like comparative analysis, write an essay on comparative analysis of whether like like if there's something that could be universally liked. And for me, what I wanted to write my essay on, I eventually just didn't write that particular essay because I couldn't fucking get my head around it. But it was just like, I wanted to write that Bloodsport is a universal movie. And it's a movie, I should say... I
need to hear this argument.
It's universal for all men. All men in all walks of life love Bloodsport. And I found that to be true. Because like when I was videographer at the hospital, there'd be these guys who are like 80-year-old neuroscience, like super amazing, like 20 times published, just fucking amazing super brain dudes who are just so smart and so amazing in their fields. And they'd be sitting there and like they'd make a reference where it's just like, oh man, I was in there and like the sweat was getting in my eyes. I felt like Jean-Claude Van Damme when Bolo threw the sand in his eyes in Bloodsport. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This dude is just like, he's like, oh, Bloodsport's fucking awesome. You're like, don't get it twisted. And it's just like, everyone I've ever seen has loved Bloodsport who's a man. I can't say I pulled all the women I know in all walks of life, but I feel like Bloodsport is one of those just boilerplate moments of like lizard brain man Like, at its very base male instinct of like lizard brainedness. I feel like dudes fucking love Bloodsport because it's just like you got like these like agile little dudes. So you got the moments for like the like littler guys where like, yeah, look at that fucking little guy just killed that big dude. Then you got like really big guys who are super strong where it's just like hitting guys and just end them. Then you got like these athletic, like there's all these different body types and all these different people that other like guys who identify with. And all the fights happening, like, and everyone wins some and everyone loses some, and there's all this like weird rallying around the violence. It's not a good film by any like stretch. I'm not gonna like. It's a great movie. It's a great movie and a bad film. So, you know, it's got that Jurassic World appeal to it.
There we go.
And that's my thought, and that was my like thing about Bloodsport is like, yep, in my lizard brain where I don't exist as like a modern major general of the new society in the future when I 500 million years or I should say 6,000 years in the past when God made the earth and made man.
6,000 years ago when everything started.
Yeah. It'd been about 6,000 years ago. But yeah, so to transition that back to Kong, Skull Island, like I look at that and it's like King Kong versus Godzilla, and my brain just goes,
monsters.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let them fight.
Is there any other way we can get like King Ghidorah or like Gigan or like Mothra in the mix too, and like maybe like make it like a 4-way brawl and like they smash a whole city to nothing, or maybe get a couple Jaegers in there? I don't know. Just you guys work it out. I'll give you the money. That's how we'll do it. Is really how that whole thing works for me.
Betting pool.
You know, so Warner
fight, pretty much.
I think Warner's trying to like double down because when it comes down to it, it's like Disney and Universal fucking smashed this year's box office into like oblivion. Like just, you know, Universal made $5 or $6 billion, and there's still like 3.5 months to go on the year. It shattered like the most box office take in the history of film, and there's a third or a quarter of a year left to go.
Yeah, Jurassic. You talking about Jurassic
World and Fast 7 are both Universal.
Oh, that's right. Fast 7 was massive.
Yeah, and then Straight Outta Compton too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that did better than expected.
Yeah, it did a lot better. So it's like they just made they're making all the money, and so I think Warner Brothers is trying to double down and really get it going because one, I mean, obviously DC is off to a slow start. But it'll make them tons of money in the long run, unless it burns out the way Zack Snyder says. And then, this idea of having,
it goes the way of the Western, you see.
It's gonna burn out. It's burning too hot and too bright. You see, you can't make the movies with that much flair and that much fun. I don't know why they're all prospectors at Warner Brothers, but they are. They're all like panning gold as they're having this talk. Yeah. What do you think about the superhero movie? I don't know.
There's only so long you can do it.
You can only make so many of the Batmans before you have Iceman and Poison Ivy and throwing puns out there. It's like that was Joel Schumacher's fault. That wasn't that the stories were. Oh no, you don't know. Just. But keeping with Warner Brother news, I guess. This isn't even a casting thing. I don't know why this was a big story that broke, but it was like Warner Brothers wants Sean Bean and Eva Green to play the villains in Wonder Woman. You know, it's just like
I don't even know who that is.
Sean Bean is he dies in everything. He's in absolutely everything.
He dies in everything. He's that guy.
He was Alec Trevelyan in Goldeneye.
He's the typecast. He follows up on the casting calls for the guy who dies. Hey, we need.
Well, I mean, I don't think he tries to be the guy who dies. He just happens to die all the time. He's Ned Stark in Game of Thrones.
Oh.
There
we go.
Sean Bean, man, he's just
he does die in everything.
Yeah, he's just super unlucky, man. He's just super unlucky. And they want him to be Ares.
He Boromir?
He is Boromir.
Yeah. Oh, is. Sorry.
Or was. I don't know. I don't know how you want to.
I apologize to the Ring fans. Damn.
And then, Eva Green, they want her to be Cersei. Yeah. Not Lannister, just Cersei. I wonder if, since Eva Green, I wonder if it's in her contract, because she is just about completely nude in everything that she's in.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, she is.
I wonder if there's just like there's gonna be a scene. There'll probably be a scene where she, since it's gonna be PG-13, there'll probably be a scene where she, you know, they do PG-13 and just hide enough of it, and it's all side boob and just about butt. And then, I mean, no complaints. Eva Green's a beautiful woman, and if she wants to do that and make money, fucking more power to her.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's pretty odd that that's like a story where it's like Warner Brothers says they want these people. You know, it's just like, okay. You know, and like most part, like when you have a Marvel thing, it's like Marvel took meetings with Joaquin Phoenix. Looks like they have him eyed up for the role of such and such. Yeah. But this is like, apparently some production assistant was like, yeah, I guess they want Sean Bean and Eva Green to be bad guys. And somebody's like, type up the story as fast as you can, David. I don't know why his name's
the Anchorman drop. Yeah.
David at comicbookmovie.net. So I mean, there's like that's another little tidbit in the ethos right now that is supposedly going on with the Wonder Woman movie, because everyone's all jacked up on Wonder Woman because she was so big in the trailer. Gal Gadot looked real good in the trailer, which she did. She looked great in that trailer.
Yeah. There's another female that is female superhero casting rumors.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's casting rumors for one, and there's
who they're talking to.
Right, there's casting rumors, and there is an official casting that was announced today.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Yep. Okay,
yeah.
I know where you're going with that.
You do know. I'm jumping around right now because you made a good point. Now I'm trying to tie it all together so we don't double back on it. It's the Oregon Trail.
Complete the circle.
We want to go all the way forward. We never want to come back. We want to keep on going. But yeah, I think the idea of Rebecca Ferguson as Captain Marvel could be pretty tight, because they could get her. They could get her for cheap.
Yeah. I was gonna watch a bootleg of Mission Impossible prior to this podcast, just so I could see what everybody's talking about. On what is it, Rogue Nation?
Yeah,
Rogue, whatever it is. Yeah,
that's the right one.
So, and I did not do that. I'm sorry, Flarkers, I failed you.
Get the Flark out of Dodge, Reach.
I don't have anything to gauge her performance on, or how well she would do.
I've only seen the trailer, and she was a badass in the trailer, so I was like, I could be into it. You know, I could be into all of their choices except for the internet's attempted choice at Ronda Rousey. And that's not because I think Ronda Rousey sucks. It's just because I don't think she's done enough to carry a movie. And when I see Roadhouse, the reboot of Roadhouse, I'll totally maybe change my mind on that. I'll change my tune on that. But Carol Danvers, I feel, is really important to where we're going. And
uber important.
And I don't want her to be weak, because then, like a weak film, because then everyone who's a piece of shit is going to keep on that train that women can't carry comic book movies, which I think is a crock of shit.
Yeah, we don't like that guy.
And so I feel like I'm more guarded about that than most comic book movies, where it's like, I really want Captain Marvel to be good, because if it's not, then everyone's going to go ahead and try and claim that women can't carry this shit, and it's not true. It's just that the previous female-led superhero movies haven't been written with the intent to make them good. You know?
Sure.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about her and the talks about her being Captain Marvel, but I'm hoping that she's more of like the red herring to get it off the scent of it being Emily Blunt or Charlize Theron. Because I feel like if you can get Charlize Theron, you fucking get Charlize Theron. You just, you just do. That's a good get. She's a great actress. She's transformative. Like, there are very few actors in the world that transform the way she does in a role. So it's just kind of like, if we can get her to be Carol Danvers, you fucking sign her to be Carol Danvers. That's just,
it's over.
That just sounds,
if she gets to play Carol Danvers.
That just sounds super awesome. The other Marvel, like the actual official Marvel casting news today, is that Rachel McAdams is officially going to be in Doctor Strange, pumping up the cast to now the biggest, most star-studded cast that Marvel has had in a solo flick. I mean, come on, Tilda Swinton.
Other than an Avengers.
Yeah. But that's a team up that's built out of a solo.
Well, duh, you said solo.
Right. So you got Tilda Swinton, Chiwetel Ejiofor, supposedly Mads Mikkelsen, Rachel McAdams, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange himself, and that's 5 A-listers right there in the movie. And these are all big roles. So it's crazy that
it's madness
that Marvel's doing that, because Marvel typically stays away from that.
This is the Warner Brother guys. In
Also, it's also pretty crazy because a lot of people are saying that this casting news coming out today is a direct result of the Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics split, and that Ike Perlmutter was very secretive and wanted to keep things under wraps, and also he apparently is very nefariously against women leading comic book movies, as much as he was against making toys for girls when he was a toy magnate in the 70s and 80s. And so there's a lot of rumors that's circling around that Rachel McAdams coming out and just like, yeah, I got the role, is really a big part of Kevin Feige and the new Marvel Studios team being like, yeah, when we have someone booked, we're going to have them say that they're in the role. And we're not going to hide this shit, and that it doesn't have to be a crazy trailer reveal every time we hire someone. It should be that she's in it. How cool is that? Next thing. So that's pretty neat. I think Rachel McAdams is awesome. She's pretty, she's pretty amazing in almost everything that she's been in. Although I did hear that True Detective Season 2 is not very good. Haven't seen it. I haven't even seen Season 1.
That's what I heard, too.
I haven't even seen Season 1. I haven't seen any True Detective, which I guess makes me a piece of shit as far as being
piece of shit.
As far as being cool goes, dude. If you're not watching Game of Thrones and fucking Sons of Anarchy and if you're not watching all of the TV shows, you're like a piece of garbage now. Is how the new world works.
Just nobody cares about you anymore.
You're telling me
Can't
you're not
even fit in at the water cooler.
You're telling me you're not watching The Bastard Executioner on FX? I'm like, I don't know what that is. Good. You suck. Good to know.
Terrible TV shows.
Exactly. Shifting out of the world of television, though, you want to talk about some comic stuff? Because we haven't talked about, last week we talked about video games.
About some comics.
And this week there's some really cool comics stuff that kind of happened. And there's a bunch of cool announcements and all sorts of... Maybe some of them aren't as cool. A little overwhelming, so to speak. But a couple of small tidbits right out of the gates. Gwen Stacy is everywhere now in the all-new Marvel Universe. Gwen...
and I love it.
Spider-Gwen getting her own book. And then on top of which, she's getting... Gwenpool. I don't know what universe Gwenpool is from, but it's basically Gwen Stacy as Deadpool. She's the companion comic in Howard the Duck. So you buy a Howard the Duck, you get a Gwenpool story in the back, in very 70s style of comimes. Hopefully no half page adverts, but
shots fired.
Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, so Gwen Stacy is apparently going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Marvel universe. Not so much a force to be reckoned with in this new Marvel universe, but still kind of related to Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker and everything. Mary Jane is going to be the new romantic interest for Tony Stark in the new Iron Man series.
Yeah, she is.
I don't like it. It makes me mad. When I read that, I got mad. I don't like it. That's Peter's girl.
Why you mad?
That's Peter's girl, dude. That's the way it's supposed to be. Oh man. Even after, what is it in the Secret Wars thing where they're together, that panel in the Secret Wars things. Yeah, where it's just the no matter whatever happened, no matter how many universes were erased and how many lifetimes were eaten, no matter what, I always knew I always had to come back home to you. And it's just oh my god. And then looking at oh yeah, Mary Jane's gonna be the chick that Iron Man's trying to nail in the new Iron Man. So it's no, Tony Stark's a piece of shit.
Well, slow down. We don't know his intentions.
He's a piece of garbage. Reed. He's garbage people. Tony Stark has now and always been garbage people.
Yeah.
He just happens to have a superpowered armor suit that thrusts him into being a superhero. Almost all of his intentions are garbage people intentions. But you know what? Mary Jane's a grown woman, and if she doesn't want to be with Pete and she wants to be with Tony, more power to her. I just don't like it.
She can make that decision.
That's
herself.
true. She can most certainly make the decision, despite the fact that I hate it.
Yeah.
I do. I read that, and I was like, I actually got fucking flustered. I was like, this is dumb. This is super dumb.
I just wonder how it's going to work out in the same vicinity as because obviously they're going to be close to the Avengers teams.
Yeah.
Which has Spidey.
Yeah, the uncanny Avengers has Peter Parker Spider-Man on it. It's gonna be super weird, you know. I wonder, in the new universe, is Peter gonna be still living at Avengers Tower, or do you think they're gonna have him moved out?
Who knows where he'll be?
Because that'll make it even more.
I can't imagine no guy wants to stay where his ex is staying. Well, that's not to say that she's living with Tony.
Yeah. Well, she's supposed to be working for him to start off with and be his romantic interest. They're basically it's basically that she's like his personal assistant. Like she's the Pepper Potts.
Tony never learns. Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah,
Tony.
Man. It's always gonna be a beautiful redhead too. Oh, Tony. Oh, Tony. Tony. Poor Tony Stark.
Band, the 90s group?
Yeah, the 90s group. Tony. You know, since we get to talk about Mary Jane, I get to touch on my favorite Spider-Man movie moment.
Sure.
Yeah. In
Wait, what? Which one?
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Because obviously she's not in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Although she's supposed to be played by Shailene Woodley.
Oh, yeah, she was supposed... Yeah.
She dropped out for the...
We saw her back.
Yeah, she dropped out for the Insurgent stuff, which, I mean, made her a ton of money. But in Spider-Man 2, after everything's all said and done, and Kirsten Dunst, Mary Jane, knows Peter's Spider-Man, and, you know, he goes to her, and he's in the suit, and they have their, like, kiss moment, and it's like, oh, it's all lovey-dovey, and then Peter hears the sirens, and he stops kissing her and looks out the window, and you see him, he's about to go, and he stops, and then he turns to look at Mary Jane, and then she's like, what are you waiting for? Go get him, Tiger. And it's like, oh my god, that's so fucking perfect. And then he fucking
Mary Jane.
And then he fucking thwips out the window and goes, and it's just like, there hasn't been a more, like, that is the most Spider-Man movie, or Spider-Man moment of the entire Spider-Man film franchise, is him kissing Mary Jane, hearing fucking crime happen, going to leave, realizing he's with her, like, oh shit, right, I gotta turn off Spider-Man, turns to look at her realizing that he really does need to go, and then hitting him with the go get him, Tiger. And it's just like, yep, perfect.
Yep.
If only you didn't just shit the bed with Spider-Man 3. We'd still just be running right down that same path. But, you know, so it goes.
Oh, well.
So
yeah, we get a redo. Mulligan.
Yeah, so it goes.
We'll take a Marvel mulligan.
A Marvelgan?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm forcing it. That's too hard to try and make work.
It is.
I'm forcing it. You know what? I'll just leave. I'll just see myself out.
I'll just go over here.
I'll just quit. It's fine. It's not a big deal. So, how do you feel about the quote unquote 6 Avengers teams, including affiliate teams, considering one of them's not even a fucking Avengers team?
Yeah, I am overwhelmed at first, conflicted. I've read Avengers, New Avengers, Avengers World, and Uncanny Avengers since their number ones this year, or the past 3 years. And I don't know if I need 6. Like, it was hard enough to keep up with 4.
Right.
So, granted, like you said, the one isn't really. And Squadron Supreme is not a...
Yeah, Squadron Supreme's not at all a an Avengers team.
Yeah.
It never has been, and I get that they're like clearly a very big, very badass, superpowered beings, but not.
Yeah, I mean, I like them just as much as anybody.
Yeah,
but
it's just like
Avengers.
To give everyone the rundown, just in case you've missed it.
Oh yeah.
Here we'll go through and we'll break down who the new teams are, thusly, in the about 2 seconds here, because we gotta look at all of them.
Well, first you got the whole team, the main team,
Yeah.
all new, all different.
Right. Yeah. All new, all different is Sam Wilson, Captain America. So Falcon, Captain America. Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Tony Stark, Iron Man, Tony Stark. Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. The Vision, Sam Alexander, Kid Nova, and Jane Foster, Thor. So it's the team that's driving everyone who hates diversity wild. Avengers team.
Yes. Yes.
Also included
all of you bigots.
Yeah, all the bigots are just like, come on, Mexican black Spider-Man, a woman Thor, black Captain America. Why not just make new ones and not fucking ruin my life? It's like, shut up. Just shut up.
An android? It's not even human.
Next thing you know, people are going to be marrying their soul gem or mind gem wearing robots, man. Marriage is between a man and a woman, or a man and a man and a woman and a woman. You can't be marrying no robots. You know? That's what I'm saying. It's like, don't be so robophobic, bro. Then you got Squadron Supreme, which doesn't count at all, but the lineup for that is Hyperion from 616.
Who I love.
Nighthawk from the Supreme Power Universe. Dr. Spectrum from the pre-Secret Wars Great Society group in the New Avengers. Blur, who's from a completely new universe. Thundra, and then I can't remember who the last one is, but there's one other lady in the group. So, I don't know there. This one is one I'm actually really excited about, because I think it's going to be really neat to watch them fight together. And that's the A-Force.
Yeah. It'll be fun. The Secret Wars books are awesome.
Yeah, I think them as a group is like a lot of fun. I've always really liked Nico Minoru from The Runaways. And then She-Hulk has always been cool. I think Dazzler is a lot more underrated than people give her credit for. Medusa is always badass. I don't know.
Super badass.
I don't really know much about Singularity.
I don't know much either. I think it has something to do with Captain Universe.
But I feel like Singularity is going to be like the wild card with tons of power. This one, I think
anything with space on its skin, know.
Yeah, it's going to have tons and tons of power.
Yeah.
This one, I think, is going to hit home with you, Reej. I think the New Avengers is going to be your book. And then
I'm excited for that one.
Who's what's the roster for New Avengers?
Hawkeye, Old Man Hawkeye, good old Barton. Sunspot, who now bought AIM, which is now Avengers Idea Mechanics. We got Songbird, Hulkling and Wiccan.
Nice.
And then Squirrel Girl. So definitely a huge change from the New Avengers we know and love from Hickman's run, a.k.a. the Illuminati. Is far from that.
Yeah.
But
like
with Ewing, Al Ewing writing, and I don't know, Sandoval looks great for these characters too. It reminds me of like a Capcom game.
Sandoval has fucking crushed it with the way that Scarlet Witch and Vision's kids look. Wiccan and Hulkling look awesome.
Yes.
They're still their kids, right? Is that since the universe spit out? Did they take that away from them?
I don't even know.
Because Wiccan,
to be honest, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, because I know that in
how it all forms back.
In the original Shakeout, the two kids didn't get blinked out of existence. They got moved across the universe, and then bam, it's Hulkling and Wiccan. Which so tight. I like that those two are still together because they work so well together. I also am excited to see how Doreen plays into an Avengers team that isn't West Coast based.
Yeah. I'm not even familiar with Songbird.
Yeah, no, Songbird's pretty rad. She's gonna be, the flyer. They calling out strays and doing perimeter control for her team. The Ultimates, I don't know about. I'm not really sure about it as a book because there's conflicting reports about who's on the team. There's the report that Galactus is on the team, and then there's the report that Galactus is the first thing they fight. So, I like the idea of, I love a team that's led by Captain Marvel and Black Panther. I think that's super badass. Monica Rambeau is great. Blue Marvel's cool. And Miss America, come on, Miss America's super fresh, too. It's I think, as a team, I think they're really, really powerful. I don't like the idea that if it is true that Galactus is on the team, there's just something about that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't mind heroes getting the redemption song, but I don't want it to be Galactus because the dude fucking eats planets for sustenance. He by his very nature kind of has to be bad at some point, and I don't want to watch the team justify why he can eat a planet.
Yeah. Who knows? We don't even. A lot of this, I think, things are going to come out of what's happening in Secret Wars, and however Battle World ends up spewing everything back out. Because I know one of the things from the very beginning there was what happened with Galactus, and the Immortals had him, and then even before that, at the end of Hickman's FF run, he and Nathan Richards had fused together in the future or something. Somebody commented on
Kang the Conqueror,
and it reminded me.
Kang and Galactus.
Well, yeah,
together?
Any form of Nathan Richards, but
okay, but that's still hardcore. If you had Kang and Galactus form one being, that'd be pretty brutal. And then there's one more.
Who knows what?
The
Uncanny Avengers. Which is the oddball team mix up of mutants and Avengers and
Inhumans.
But yeah, you got old Steve Rogers now.
Yep.
We have what's being called a Human Torch type character who might be Inferno or Toro, because Johnny Storm is dead, obviously. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Spoiler.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta throw the tag out there. People aren't ready for him to be dead yet.
Oh man.
You got what looks to be.
Okay.
Is it looks like Age of Apocalypse Rogue? Doesn't even look like regular Rogue.
Yeah, well, she's been rocking that in.
In 616.
The newer, newer Uncanny Event. Well, I don't even know if that one's in the 616 because they were fighting Kang's children. I forget what they were called. Their names, dang it. But yeah, that was in Uncanny Avengers, taking place alongside Infinity while that was happening, and so I don't think they're in the same universe. But so you got old Steve Rogers, Human Torch type thing, Rogue, Deadpool, yes, Spider-Man, who Peter Parker. They should just put Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Quicksilver and Brother Voodoo.
Come on, Brother Voodoo, yes, dude.
Awesome.
Getting Brother Voodoo in anything is super tight.
And then, is that Silk?
No, the rumor is that that's Synapse. She's an Inhuman that's going to pop up after the world split again.
Oh, that would make sense with the
tagline
down the middle,
the fighting for humanity, inhumanity, mutants, and Deadpool. Since Deadpool's a mutate, he's not technically a mutant,
right?
So much designation in the Marvel Universe. You can be a mutant, you can be a mutate, you can be an Inhuman, you can be just a regular guy with powers. As long as you're bit by a radioactive spider, then you're good. Also, comic book wise.
Also,
Scotty Young is going to be continuing on, taking over Groot, but Groot's no longer just going to be Groot. It's going to be Rocket and Groot relaunched as Rocket and Groot. which
I can't fucking wait.
I'm excited. I also like the fact that they're going to be 1 and 2 shot story arcs, and I feel like that's going to be a really neat experiment for Marvel to have something that the stories will wrap up in an issue or in 2 issues. And I feel like those are going to be a really cool idea because everything thus far for the last couple of years has been like a 10, 12 issue arc. And I feel a little fatigued from super long arcs, and I'm kind of welcoming an idea of 1 or 2 shots. So, also Scotty Young's pretty badass, so I think that's going to be...
Yeah, anything Scotty does.
I think this will be a really, really neat... I can't remember who they pegged as the artist, but his art style is crushing it, so...
Also, Scotty's just writing it.
I think Scotty's just writing it. Maybe he's drawing
like
it.
Howard the Human.
I think I don't know if he's just writing it, or if he's writing it in pencils, and somebody else is inking, but I don't know. We'd have to double check that, but I know that
I was going to say.
He's writing it for
He's
sure.
getting back on art for Rocket and Groot. That son of a gun. He might be giving me some more ideas for tattoos.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, dear.
Dang you, Scotty.
Good old Scotty. This recently happened in Secret Wars, and it's alluding to what the all-new X-Men are going to be dealing with. And it's that Terrigen Mist is toxic to mutants with the X gene.
What did this happen in?
There's a preview issue that just came out that shows Storm going in to try and save a doctor, and one of his teammates, Terrigen Mists him, and he goes into cardiac arrest. And they're trying to save his life, and his heart is failing. And they find out that the guy is a latent mutant, with his powers not activated, and the Terrigen Mist is killing him. So,
damn.
So the new thing is going to be that there's going to be Terrigen Mist terrorism done on mutants, and so we're going to have Inhuman spawn. Yeah. So this is all just a rumor and speculation, but that's the big crux of right now, is that they're playing that Terrigen Mist will kill mutants now in this new newly merged. What are we supposed to call this new one? That's like 616 Prime? I don't know what we're supposed to call this new singular universe.
No, it's just Battle World right now. That's all it is.
So, but yeah, that's the
it's the whole thing.
That's another little tidbit.
That's crazy.
I know. I think it's gonna be really kind of. I think somebody pivotal. We'll see someone pivotal get murdered by Terrigen Mist, only to come back as a mutant with inhuman powers too. Yeah. Mark my words, Flarkers, you mother Flarkers out there. We will see a mutant get quote unquote killed by Terrigen Mist, only to reemerge as some kind of super badass. And they'll also be bad guy because their mind is fractured and they're super powered. It's just gonna go down like that. It's gonna go down like that. I don't.
Speaking of Inhumans,
ooh, you tell me.
Shield.
You tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me what.
One of our favorite things that we were speculating about in Miss Abigail Brand and this other organization that the agents are about to meet up with when the show starts. Come to find out, her character, Constance Zimmer, the name is Rosalind Price.
I don't like it.
To which has nobody in the Marvel Universe. And I guess we can still hope for a little bait and switch.
My fingers are crossed that it's the old redirect. Like, yes, Rosalind Price. Of course she's not Abigail Brand. It's like, no. In my mind, I just can't. I'm like, no, it's Sword and she's Abigail Brand, and if it's not, you guys are stupid.
Right. Well, last season with Adama,
it's fine.
He'll always be General Adama.
Yeah, it's either he's Adama or he's the teacher from where it's like a negative times a negative equals a positive. Can't remember what that movie's called right now. Stand and Deliver. There we go. It's an old movie with Edward James Olmos, and he crushes it. Continue.
Oh no. No, they amped it up so much last season to who he was or the mystery behind it, and they even put out. I remember there was like this sole focus on this one line, this teaser almost they put out of when he smiles, the whole world smiles.
Right.
And I was nothing ever. I mean, they killed the fucker. Come on, what? Did something happen mid-season where he wasn't gonna pan out like you guys thought he would for something to do with the contract? It just seemed like the what they were talking about in the beginning never equaled to what we saw in the show. Am I wrong? Do you feel that way at all? Did I just amp that all up in my own head?
No, because they did totally like push it that was the angle, and it's just they played it up really big, and then and then just kind of like, what? It's just like,
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
It's just like, it was this big cryptic thing, and then out of nowhere it's just like, and guess what? The payoff is nothing. It was like, that's super dumb. Why is the payoff nothing?
Yeah, I just hope they don't do that with this character.
Yeah. Well,
but
I mean, keeping with S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know that you're like, I'm not particularly into the leather outfits, but what do you feel about like the modified S.H.I.E.L.D. outfit for Quake, for Daisy?
For Quake, yeah, I can dig it.
I feel like that's a pretty solid little look for Little Miss Daisy. Little Chloe Bennett.
Yeah, because I did not like her in the first season, and now I'm just rooting for her.
Yeah, I think it's neat that basically S.H.I.E.L.D. is becoming Secret Warriors. So,
yep,
that's a cool idea. I like where it's going, and I'm into that as a new S.H.I.E.L.D.
armbands that well. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really see her bracers all that well. But
gauntlets.
Is her new asymmetrical haircut? Is that new for season 3?
Yep. No, she got that at the end of season 2.
I was like, did they give her a sassy new haircut in addition to badass new threads?
Or maybe we could be totally wrong. Yeah, how about you guys tell us?
Yeah, that'd probably be
if you know.
Probably be for the best if you guys told us, because
yep, we'll defer to the Flarkers.
A wise shepherd always defers to his flarkers. I don't know. That one didn't work. We're not going with that. Keeping in the vein of like pictures of people in costume, on the dumber end of the spectrum is Hawkman and Hawkgirl, but that's not really the people in the costume's fault. Those characters are dumb as fuck looking just to begin with. Sorry, Hawkman and Hawkgirl fans.
Yeah.
If you wanna come at me about how they don't look dumb and how a dude who's basically just wearing a bandolier and green pants and a giant bird head and wings for a hat is a cool costume, you go right ahead. I think he looks like a shitty version of Serpentor from G.I. Joe. That's the way I've always felt about it, and that's the way I always will feel about it. I'm all for having both.
Tell them how you feel.
Protestify. I'm all for having them in Legends of Tomorrow. I just thought they would modern up their costumes and not just make them look stupid. But it really wasn't on the top of the priority list to de-stupid them. That being said,
I mean, imagine taking a guy or a girl who can fly and who normally, looks like a winged creature and just kind of modernizing their costume. I don't think that's oh wait, somebody did it. Didn't Marvel do that to?
Yeah, well, it kind of.
Falcon.
The one guy who flies with the wings, they did it. But it's Marvel. Can't copy Marvel when you're DC.
Yeah. You can't do what the other guy did.
It's better to do dumb than to do what works. In that regard.
Damn it, we'll be dumb.
We're gonna go the stupid route. Like, why? Why would we go the stupid route?
Because they want the smart route.
So,
yeah.
2 quick things before we go. I feel like Apple right there. 2 quick things before we're out of here.
Okay, Tim Cook.
One last thing. We made a pencil. We made a digital stylus pencil. Deadpool released a couple of new photos. One called Understanding the Teenage Mind, which is a picture of him standing next to Negasonic Teenage Warhead, reading a book, God, Are You There? It's Me, Margaret, trying to understand the angstiness of a teen girl. which plays into Deadpool perfectly.
Hilarious.
Oh, super funny. And then also today, Deadpool himself released a little tweet pic of him playing with his favorite crocheted dolls, which are Blanche and the rest of the gang from Golden Girls, which of course Deadpool loves Golden Girls and crocheted dolls because he's Deadpool, and why wouldn't he? And then the final little tidbit before we let you guys get back to your non-region done-filled lives.
Yeah, dwell on this one.
James Gunn has said that the biggest and best Easter egg in Guardians of the Galaxy still has not been found over a year and 2 months later.
And we're talking lists compiled that even Gunn himself has looked over and said, no, you didn't get it.
Yeah, there's still one out there that no one has gotten. And now I think, this is a challenge for us as a team. I feel like everyone needs to just get in there and watch this thing one frame at a time all the way through and just figure it out.
He sat there for 3 days.
I've got it. No, they already found that one. Fuck. All right. Fine. That's not it.
Yeah, it's... I'm going to go nuts, though, trying to think of what this is. I pride myself on Easter eggs.
On Easter egg hunting?
Especially Guardians, yeah.
So... But other than that, we have reached the end of episode 10, and
we did it again.
We done did it. We're in here. We're taking care of business, and we really, really appreciate all of you guys listening to the show. It's a lot of fun for us to make this, and we're happy that you guys are growing each week and we're getting more Flarkers added to the group, so that way we can all, enjoy all these pop culture things. That being said, if you want to find us on the internet, we are on the iTunes. If you just go in there and search the Best Flarking Podcast, you can add us to your iPhone your podcast app, and or you can add us just through iTunes at your home computer if you want to listen to us when you're at home making your dinners and listening to us like we're NPR. We're the Flarking Home Companion.
We should do an entire episode in NPR voices someday.
I'm into it. I'm into it as an idea. And if you do listen to us on iTunes, it would do us a huge service if you would go into the Best Flarking Podcast page on iTunes and leave a review and a rating. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but we would love you forever if you did. That's not the only place where you can listen to us, though. We're two more. We're just audio only. We are on SoundCloud as the Best Flarking Podcast, which has all of our episodes and is a really cool place to, you can comment and repost and do all that neat social media type jargon stuff on there. We are also on Stitcher. If you're not a fan of SoundCloud or iTunes, we have the third option for you, which is the Stitcher Radio. And on there, if you listen to us and you give us good reviews and all that other jazz that makes us feel good, we make money off of it, so that's super cool for us if you are particularly inclined. No pressure to use that, but use that. And
no pressure.
Oh, man. I hope they use Stitcher. And if for some reason you don't want to have any of those and you want to watch like a cassette playing the entire time that we're doing our episode, we're on YouTube as Evil Ice Cream Pictures. There you can also find all of the dumb little like cartoons and characters all the characters of the week. You can find the Dave Thomas Yellow Lantern video that I made. We're also on Twitter as @MotherFlarker. That's also our Vine handle. You can find our cartoon series Oh Scott on Vine, or you can find it on our Instagram, which is the Best Flarking Podcast on Instagram as well. So those are all of our social media options. We'd love it forever if you followed them all or did subscribed or all of the buzzwords that are required to be a part of all that other stuff.
Yeah. Some kind of something, some action that
Yeah. And then lastly, we have our Facebook page where we compile all that stuff, or if for some reason all of this stuff is just going to blow through one ear and right out the other, it's all written right there with clicky links that you can get to all that other stuff if you want to. And mainly, we just, we love to hear from you guys. If you have something you want us to cover or something you think we missed or just want to argue with us, we're more than happy to do just that with you because it's all part of the process of being a fan. So,
It's fun.
That's what he said. It's fun. It's the fun thing to do. So, other than that, I have been Dunners to some.
And I am Reg.
He is.
To everyone.
It checks out. I heard his story. He's Reg. It checks out. And we are
the best Flarking podcast.